Footy highlights for Vic Super. Vic Super's conscious investment option. Super that makes a difference.
Williams, 45 out, ball's on its way. I reckon it's pretty straight. Well done, young man.
Magnificently to Fantasia. Runs out, opens it up and puts it through.
Garner, tight angle shot forward, pocket, northern end, round the body, and he's goal.
North have slowed the game down. Normie Digger, but I've been watching this game for
98.
well over 50 years, Tone.
It's Digger, Tony.
Hello, Digger. How are you?
I've been following Collingwood
Yep.
for 97 years.
Round the body, McDonald tipping Woody for a goal.
And Waite comprehensively beats Hurley in a one-on-one. He has absolutely nailed it.
It's Digger, Tony.
You have been following football for a long time, Tim. 4-4-28 North Melbourne, Essendon 4-2-26. A couple of Jared Waite for Elmore Oil. Let's go down to Mick Warner on the boundary line for the best pain relief, Elmore Oil.
And as we said, Tone, no injuries in the quarter, but the big one was Robbie Tarrant, who hurt himself in the warm-up. And when you consider that Goldstein, Lindsay Thomas, Jack Zeeble were out, it's been a pretty good performance and an outstanding crowd as well, as you mentioned, for 10th versus 17th, 40,000 plus. And I think most of them are Bombers, and most would be a little bit concerned at what they're seeing so far.
We'll find out through Matthew and also Lee as they have a look at the stats. I want to ask just for one stat each that sort of sums up best how the game is going for Canterbury Timber Windows at windowsanddoors.build.
One stat I'll give you, Tone, is marks. And North have taken 36 marks and Essendon 11. So it's a real positive for the North Melbourne Footy Club that they haven't given the time and space that Essendon likely.
Yeah, no, they've actually been good. They've actually got in. They won the contested possession pretty much early in the quarter, so they got a bit of field position. Waite's been able to get on the end of a few up forward, no, so they've been good. The thing that troubles a lot of sides, and they'll trouble North too, is that the speed of those the Colliers and Fantasia and Tipping Woody, just need 3 or 4 of them that can really take off with footy. Merritt round the middle, but that extreme speed of that mosquito fleet for Essendon.
Let's go round the grounds for Vodafone Tiff as you're about 12-13 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Tone, Christian Petraka has added to Melbourne's score. They lead by 10, 2 goals to 12 to 2 points.
And here we have North Melbourne at the start of the second quarter, leading by 2 points. For RACV Business Insurance, here's Tim Lane.
Majak Dor, very competitive in the centre bounce area in the first quarter, contesting with Bell Chambers. An Essendon takeaway here. Chain of hand passes around the back. It's driven forward by Merritt, but it's going to be brought back. And it will be a Bomber free kick to McKenna, who was interfered with in an illegal way. And he'll take it pretty much on the centre line. He pokes a little pass in his slightly Irish way, finds Watson between centre and half forward, wants to go, does now, with a hand pass to Merritt, long ball. Bell Chambers sat on Majak Dor's shoulders, but the whistle went, and it was adjudged an unrealistic attempt, probably because he didn't get his hands to it, but that would have been almost as good as Majak's mark of the year last year had he been able to snare it.
Just went about 4 seconds too early, I reckon, Tim.
It's a pity there's not a category for Leap of the Year, because that would be in it. That was magnificent. So they go short, not worth anything to you, Lordy, but it was a good lead. They go short, North Melbourne defensively to Nielsen, who is going to kick across the face of goal. I don't like this. And it is a mark to Stewart, who just outbodied Durden that time. And I heard you go, and we could see in flight, Lordy, that was a bad move from young Nielsen.
You see it happen so often, young sides can come out of the blocks well, but how long can you sustain it for? And Essendon set up a really good zone. He panicked, he went across goal, saw one-on-one, and Stewart worked Durden under the footy.
Yep. 25 at the most. James Stewart to give Essendon back the lead at the 2-minute mark, second quarter. Stewart's a little stuttering run in, but 25 out, kicks through the ball nicely for a goal. 5-2-32 the Bombers, North Melbourne 4-4-28. 2 gone, second quarter. For RACV Business Insurance, they can tailor the right cover to suit your needs. Here's Lee Matthews.
Yeah, I think Essendon are really trying to make sure that they can't kick the ball across the full back line to maintain possession. That was the turnover with the Tip and Woody goal. Was basically a turnover from trying to just be too creative in finding the free target in the back 50. But you've got to keep doing it. But if you keep making too many mistakes, clearly the problem is the scoreboard and the morale goes against you badly.
So James Stewart puts the Bombers in front early in the second quarter. 5-2 to 4-4. Another perfect bounce by Troy Pennell. Bell Chambers and Dorr. No decisive bring down. Cunnington a hand pass. Bombers are forcing North backwards here. Gibson's got it. Strong tackle, Zaharakis. Ball spills to Watson. Drives Essendon forward again. McDonald tipping Goody a bit quick for McDonald. And now Danaher's there to help him out. A centering ball is perfect for Fantasia. It actually drew him away from goal, but it put him in enough space for him to complete the mark without a serious contest. It was an intelligent kick. Oh, there's a tangle off the ball closer to goal.
Scotty Thompson, Tim.
Oh, no.
The wrestle
Must have been an accident.
Scotty Thompson on Danaher.
And the umpire pulling them apart. Scotty's jumper is still on.
Yeah.
We'll check the seams. Danaher comes in and goes. And the Bombers go with not Danaher, Fantasia. And the Bombers extend the lead. And it looks as though the riot act might have been read at quarter time. They've come out with the bit between their teeth. 6-2-38 to 4-4-28. Essendon by 10 points.
It's one of the reasons that I think I agree with you, Lloydie, that Essendon have got really their upper limits are really high because they can score. When they get a little bit of the ball, then they can score. They don't just get a lot of the ball and then just not be able to make much scoreboard impact.
Yeah, they're averaging, I think, 106 points in the last 6 weeks, and you think they'll kick a big score today. It's just about how ruthless they want to be defensively and their ball use. But you just wonder if the damn wall could open possibly in this second quarter.
Yep, 2 goals in the first 4 minutes. Ray White clock second quarter has Essendon by 10 points. Merritt, who's having a beauty. Ground level pick up, handball to Watson. Back to Myers, round the body to centre half forward. Tip and Woody at the back. He's barrelled, I reckon, his North Melbourne opponent. And McDonald gets a free kick. And just a tiny bit more subtlety, may well have got away with it as McDonald goes wide to Higgins. Higgins at half back to the City side wing. Myers in a hold. Well done, Myers. Did garner that time. Close to the boundary line. Rovat has the ball. Tries to handball it away. Unconvincing, according to the Essendon supporters. Don't think we're going anywhere, and we get a stoppy lead, neutral territory on the City side. Hang on for that for a moment, Lee. Essendon by 10 points. Tiff Cherry, please, at the MCG.
Yeah, it is 11 points of difference in favour of Melbourne. 2-2-14 to just 3 points Port Adelaide.
And watching Magic Door a bit, I mean, he's been okay in the hit-outs, but when he has to read the play, get in the right position, he's not sure whether that part of his game has improved a hell of a lot in his 5 or 6 years in the system.
Kangaroos gain 30 metres forward from a stoppage with a high kick, but it's off hands and over the boundary line for a throw-in between wing and half forward for North, who are going to the Lloyd end of Etihad Stadium in the second quarter. Bellchambers beats Door this time, but it's a North Melbourne ball. Higgins has it. He sells a bit of candy and then he kicks raggedly but effectively, and it's a North Melbourne mark, and it's kicked forward in the way Hartley but Brown's marked it.
Yeah, no, Brown got there first.
And he's marked it right next to the behind post in the left forward pocket. He runs out, opens it up, and predictably he goals. They don't miss those. And North Melbourne pull one back. It's 6-2-38, Essendon 5-4-34, the Kangaroos. 6 minutes in on the Ray White clock.
Making himself a target. If he can get the front position, he's so tall, Ben Brown, and he's got good hands that Hartley just couldn't reach up high enough to get near him. So good, strong mark.
Paddy Ambrose back in the VFL this week, and he's the one that's probably the player they feel can come back and strengthen Essendon's side, and he'd take Hartley's spot. So Hartley really has to keep playing well, but he's got a big task ahead of him. So it's Ben Brown, I think, is the most exciting player at North Melbourne.
For RACV Business Insurance, we're 7 minutes into the second quarter. Essendon by 4 points. An entertaining, if not a rather tame affair so far, as Parrish for Essendon wins it out of the middle, wide to the wing. Collier has it knocked away by Clark, but Collier gets there first and ran through 4, has a bounce with the left hand, and able to deliver a perfect pass to Danaher, who's marked 55 out. Does he have a fly from here? He kicks it into the man of the mark and into Scotty Thompson, and it ricochets, picked up then by Zurhar of North Melbourne. The pass to Brown's a beauty, and Brown can go back 40 metres out, slide angle, and let North Melbourne get the lead back. And what good's like, you've got the ball, it's self-preservation, I know, Lloydie, but when Danaher is trying to kick the bladder out of it, and it's Scott Thompson, just to give a bit of extra mayo to it, well done to Scott Thompson to stay there, take the blow.
That was a great smother.
Yep.
Oh, would have hurt.
Not as much as having your jumper ripped off your back every third week. Essendon by 4 points, but a chance for Ben Brown second, and North Melbourne regain the lead. Long run in. add Holding and Lilly and Thompson, and you're still short. Brown goes back. If it works for him, and it has, good on him. 2 goals to Ben Brown. North Melbourne 6-4-40. Essendon 6-2-38 for RACV Business Insurance. We are 8.5 minutes into the second quarter. Tiff, let's go round the grounds. You're seeing a pretty fair performance early doors from Melbourne.
Yes, certainly. Melbourne is getting a lot more of the ball, but some skill errors are letting them down. However, Jesse Hogan just kicked a goal. Great to see. Big roar from the crowd. They lead by 17, 3-2-20 to just 3 points, Port Adelaide.
Tiff, that is a good start. We've got a very good crowd here, certainly beyond 40,000. What's it like at the G?
Yeah, I'd say about 35 at the moment.
Anyway, plenty of people out watching the footy, Lee, on this Saturday afternoon in Melbourne.
Well, it's indoors here, so you wouldn't know what the weather's like
That's
outside,
true.
but certainly dry and still.
Good
As
effort by
always.
North. They're back in front. A slightly limp bounce by umpire Fisher has him recalling the ball. He was hoping to let it go. I think if he'd seen a fair contest, he would have done, but it didn't quite eventuate, so he's going to throw it up. Bell Chambers and Dorr. Higher ball from umpire Fisher, and a free kick to Dorr for a bit of a charge by Bell Chambers. North waste no time and take it into half forward. Collier in the way for the Bombers, gives to Bagley. Long ball. Now, 1-on-1 here. Hooker against Nielsen. Hooker wins. Got it. His kick is poor. Slides into the 50 though. Parrish sweeping hand pass to Heppel. Swinging kick towards full forward. McDonald Tipungwuti somehow conjures a mark. They were coming from all points of the compass. He went at it unflinchingly from one of the least comfortable, and he took a mark 15 metres out, almost straight in front.
Fantastic protection from Hooker, actually. You know, if you really want to be strict, he probably blocked the North Melbourne player who might have been able to get there for the spoil.
The man known as Waller comes in and with minimum fuss puts it through and puts the Bombers back in front. Second goal, McDonald Tipungwuti. Essendon 7-2-44, North 6-4-40 on the RACV Business Insurance scoreboard.
And Mick, have we got a sore kangaroo down there?
Yeah, Andrew Swallow got a knock on the knee there, Lloyd. He's come to the bench, but he should be okay. The great Bill Lane tells us 38,928 in here at quarter time.
And we're seeing a shootout, really. It's both teams are on track to kick over 100 points the way it's going. Reminiscent, Tim, of that game. What did you say, how many years ago? 16 years ago.
16 today, Lloydie.
16
yes.
today, yeah.
Did you play in that game?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get a goal or two?
I kicked a couple, Tim.
How many? How many?
9.
That's a few more than a couple. Isn't it? A few more than a couple.
Back in the middle of the
Trying to be
ground.
modest, huh?
It is North Melbourne breaking. Demont's kick into space. Misses its target, allows Hartley the easy pick up defensively. Goes to Goddard, barrelled under the footy. Free kick Essendon. Bombers 7-2-44. North Melbourne 6-4-40 for RACV Business Insurance. Goddard runs to the point of the square defensive. Sees a man in the middle of the ground. Punched it hard beyond Watson. Zaharakis in support. Has it. Lost it. Ball hits the deck. Parrish of Essendon has it. He brought to the ground by Attlee. Not making an effort to get rid of it. It'll be a North Melbourne free kick. So Attlee, middle of the ground, gives a little handball out, and McDonald can go long for North Melbourne. Decides to go by hand to the wing.
He does, to Mullett, who swings it long, and Ben Brown's got the sit. Couldn't quite hang on to the mark. Bomber defence needs to be tight here. Brown steals the ball back. A little trickler towards the line. Kelly kept it alive like that night in Sydney. Hand pass to Hurley, who's in trouble. Got it to Collier. Essendon free kick. Bomber fans with a bit of a, hey, about time, don't you think, Mr. Umpire? Hurley will take it in the last line of defence for the Dons.
And I know every time we ask for a stat on the free kicks as Hurley kicks to half-back. It's a great mark. Second grab. Robot building supplies to Stewart. Under great pressure. Won it at half-back to Merritt. Brilliant game. Laverty bounces off his man. Defensively back to Merritt, to Gleeson. He pushes off his man. Closer to centre half-back. Laverty. Zaharakis involved. To the wing. A little slip that time from Watson. Allows Cunnington to come in. Pick it up at half forward. Can he break a tackle? Not able to. The handball into space. Missed its target. Essendon turn it over. Gleeson to Laverty. Up the middle of the ground they go. Waller has got a little chance here. No. Great mark in front to North Melbourne. Well done that time by Nielsen as they can come out wide to the wing Attlee's got the football. I'll go to him in a moment when we get a break, Mick. Little handball over the top. Garner's got it for North Melbourne. Trail by 4 points, North, but deep into attack. Wait, flew. Ball goes out of bounds now. North Melbourne into attack for Elmore Oil. Michael Warner.
It's Luke McDonald who's come off. He's gone straight down the race. He's copped a whack in the ribs. We'll have you an update later, Tone.
So ball to be thrown in 45 around from North Melbourne's goal at the southern end of the ground. The platform 28 in. North Melbourne trail by 4 points, but they've got it within 30 metres of goal.
We're getting more of a game than we bargained for. Garner's been good for North. He had it here off the ruckman, just couldn't release. Pack form's ball up.
And the free kicks are 5 to Essendon, 10 to the Kangaroos. Hence is why the Essendon supporters think they're being screwed, basically.
And the numbers are up again, so it looks as though it is an emphasis to blow the whistle a little more. Goddard received the ball from Danaher's deft bit of ruck work. Couldn't get away. Packs forms, and there'll be another ball up.
Tiff, is Melbourne applying a lot of cheap suits at the moment?
Yeah, they are. Look, they're leading at the moment by 24 points. Port Adelaide's still yet to score a goal.
Defensive win for the Bombers as Collier gave to Hurley. High left foot kick to half back. Great leap. Beautiful North Melbourne leap at half forward. Durden's got the football, and he shows a bit as a key defender to Sam Durden. This time he's forward of centre. Kicks it into the forward pocket. Brown gets first run at offhand, staying down Kelly. Lost it. Close to the boundary line. North Melbourne into attack. Trail by 4 points as Rovat's over the football. Lloydie, we get another stoppage close to the boundary line. Forward pocket right with North Melbourne into attack but trailing by 4 points.
Really feel they're being opened up in defence, Essendon. And Ben Brown's getting too many easy runs at the ball. Probably should have had another shot. Couple of shots here this quarter.
Oh, nice ruck work by Dorr. Put it into a scoring position. Dumont to Garner. Can't get out of the Goddard tackle. Got rid of the ball. Collier has a go for the Bombers, but can't keep it away from the boundary line. Throw in 30 around.
Tiff, we will get a score check, please. Close to quarter time for Vodafone.
Yeah, Melbourne lead by 25 points. Jeff Garlett just missed a chance to go for his third. 4-4-28 to 3 points.
Good to know Jeffrey Garlett is playing. Family illness we heard during the week. As Collier clears here for Essendon, but blazed away and put it out on the full. A North Melbourne ball between wing and half forward. And again, it is Durden to take it for the Kangaroos. He pokes a little pass to Rovat. Still 70 metres out from goal, but North building with method. 7-2-44 to 6-4-40. The Bombers in front. Centering ball not so hot. Still might give North a bit of a chance as the ball came off hands. Goddard though shot it to McDonald. Tippin Woody gave to Laverty. Brought down in a fierce tackle. Another pack, another ball up, a string of stoppages, all happening in North's front half.
Yeah, highly entertaining game. Essendon 7-2-44, North Melbourne 6-4-40. Ray White, Australia's #1 real estate agents, tell us 16 minutes into the second quarter. Dorr won it in the middle. Dumont tried just spear one through. Watson there as well. Hot at the moment. Cunnington comes up with it. A ragged kick going forward through the hands that time of Brown. He is crashed into. Bagley goes to ground. Rovat picks it up. Can he find a way through traffic? Handball missed to Zaharaka's turnover to Watson. And he got it out there to McGrath. McGrath goes long. I reckon it's coming back in a matter of moments. It is as Clark takes the mark. Got it to Mullop. This is the pass that counts to the feet that time of Brown. Who can come up with it? Essendon. Hurley, well done, drew his man to it, gave it to Gleeson. Gleeson halfback goes long to the wing for Essendon.
Where McDonald, Tippin Woody is brave as he tries to mark in front of two. In fact, I would say 30,000 people here are claiming he did take the mark. But that's not what the umpire thinks. And that is what
high
counts.
Contact, yeah, that was a definite free kick. Definite free kick missed.
Inside 50s this quarter, 11-4 in favour of North Melbourne, but Essendon have scored 3 goals from their 4 inside 50s.
Now umpire Pennell smells blood and he sends Collier running across the ground to the bin.
Yeah, the Yarra Valley Toyota replay, Tim, there is no risk. That's why the ire of the Essendon fans was raised. It was a dead set free to McDonald, Tippin Woody.
Swallow back for North, throw in, Dorr and Danaher. Falls to Parrish, hand pass smothered. Merritt got it, takes it away from goal, then centres. Oh, that was a rash decision, unusually so, and Garner takes a mark for North Melbourne. The cheap suit's on at the moment, although North not able to convert it into scores on the board. Majak Dorr receives between centre and half forward. Places his kick, hoping for weight. Just didn't have enough weight on the kick though. Waite picked up the ball, lost it. Attlee squeezed it out. Kangaroos still a bit of a chance. Dumont over it, got it to Cunnington. Tackled, hand pass to no one in particular. Garner got it, tackled. Back to Dumont, quick kick. Bomber fans say ball. They don't get it. They're getting ready to riot. Picked up by Myers for the Bombers. Hand pass to Bagley to Heppel. He just couldn't find the handle and the ball's over the line for a throw in 40 metres around. North in attack. Essendon 44, Kangaroos 40.
It's always a rub with the green of umpiring, and at the moment Essendon definitely aren't getting it. Their supporters are not happy.
Marty Gleeson fell awkwardly in that marking contest. Halfback win to Merritt. Handball to Heppel, who's got time at defensive 50 to go long, and he does that to the wing. One-on-one battle there. It's going to be an Essendon mark. Hooker. Laverty alongside him. He ignores it and just tells everyone settle down a bit.
Not sure what for, Tony. They had the fast break and he slowed the game down.
Essendon by 4 points on the RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. And that slow play was actually turned over. Scotty Thompson able to get back, take the mark, goes to Declan Mountford. Just seems like the word Lord or Viscount should be in front of that name. Goes to Mullet, wide to the wing. North Melbourne, Swallow in front. Can't complete the mark but wins at ground level. Back to Gibson, defensively goes back to Mullet. North Melbourne just playing keepings off at the moment, trail by 4 points. North Melbourne have it in the back half as Williams, first gamer, in for Tarrant. Has 2 bounces for North Melbourne. Goes long to the wing. This is a pretty good kick. Is it going to fall short? Higgins went up, can't take it. Staying down, it is Hooker. Handball, Hampel goes back to Danaher on the wing. The pass, just overshot his man Merritt. Turned over. Thompson's got the ball. Williams for North Melbourne finds a man free in the middle of the ground.
Rovatity is running through the centre circle, having a bounce, kicking to Waite on the lead. And he takes a good mark, twisting his body at the death. Now he hand passes, could have had a shot there to Mullet on the run and goaling from a long way. A beautiful move by the Kangaroos. A pancake parlour goal of the day.
Lovely.
And a reward for about 5 or 6 minutes of almost permanent attack. And they're back in front, 7-4-46 to 7-2-44 on the RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. Mick Warner on the boundary.
Gleeson is coming off with that arm that you mentioned. He hyperextended, looks pretty sore. And the 2 North boys who got hurt, Lockie McDonald back out there, and also Andrew Swallow.
It's interesting that North are actually the kick handball ratio, 100 kicks, 56 handballs North, so they're able to run and kick the ball, whereas Essendon 73 kicks, 79 handballs, so they've sort of been forced in a way to handball rather than actually be kicking a whole lot.
So back in the middle, North Melbourne regains the lead by 2 points. 20 minutes gone. Ray White clock second quarter. Zaharakis won at ground level to Parrish. Spearing pass right to the middle of the ground. Bell Chambers has got it. Bell Chambers long inside. Well inside 50. Hooker in front. Edged under it by Thompson. Wanted a free kick. Hooker nothing doing. McDonald, North Melbourne, can go round the body. Doesn't. Swallow bravely. Completes the mark. Or has the arm chop. And yes, you can blue. You've got to right the blue because one didn't go your way. But 2 wrongs don't make a right as North Melbourne try to come out of the middle of the ground that time. McDonald's handball wasn't good. Higgins pulled under awful pressure. It is a turnover to Essendon. Hooker handball. Goddard runs to 55. Keeps it low. Vacant goal square and missed left. 7-3-45. Essendon trailing North Melbourne 7-4-46. Quarter time for Vodafone. Chip, you're seeing a pretty impressive first quarter from the Demons.
Yeah, like we did in round 21 last year when they broke a 7-game losing streak. They lead by 25 points.
Bombers off the kick in are a bit of a chance. North managed to hold them up for a moment. And still they do. Swallow. A hand pass to Gibson. Turning onto his left side. Swinging it out over the half-back flank. Bagley in front. Tried bravely to mark. Couldn't quite hang on. Dorr squeezed out a hand pass. Didn't hit a target. Swallow excellent. Won the hard ball. Got it to Rovat. To Dorr. To Garner, who runs into an Essendon wall. Has to prop, turn and go back to the defensive 50 and Higgins. Further back now to Scotty Thompson. Keep your shirt on, Scotty. He kicks coolly. And he finds Durden still inside the defensive 50. And he pokes on a little pass for North Melbourne to
Ackley trying to get out of trouble. Over the top to Lord Declan Mountford, who takes that on the deck. Got to get rid of it, son, and he did. Ball's on the wing. Mullet's got it. North Melbourne by a point. He centres it. Majak's got to get there. He does. He marks. He can play on from 60 metres. Pull the kick going wide. Misses the Ben Brown on the way through. It's out of bounds Forward pocket at the southern end for RACV Business Insurance. 13 RACV, the number to call. Good game. North Melbourne into attack. 7-4-46 to Essendon. 7-3-45. Tick over 5 minutes to go as the ball comes back into play. Tossed in. Door. Bell-Chambers. Bell-Chambers tap. Rove that time. Or Bagley sort of inadvertently got it from, I think it was Fantasia, and the ball goes out of bounds. So North Melbourne get another stoppage, Tim, deep in their attack, southern end. This time when it's thrown in, it's about 25 around from their goal.
Having much the better of the last 10 minutes or so. Zerha's got it from the throw-in, swings it around the corner and hits the post. It was a good effort, deserved better. North by 2 points. 7-5, Essendon 7-3. Bombers lethargic today, coming off that terrific win. McKenna brings the ball back into play, plays on, gets a stat, kicks out off hands over the boundary line for a throw-in just clear of the defensive 50.
Just inside 50s this quarter, 14-7 in favour of North Melbourne, and marks 23-8. So just not allowing Essendon that outlet player.
Tossed in, Dorr flips it out the back. Important ball to be won. Danaher does it half-back. Goes straight up the middle to half-forward Hooker. Bounces off Clark. Clark shepherds. A little bounce favours Scott Thompson. Back to Clark at half-back. Round the body they go. North Melbourne giving as good as they get. The pass was good. Attlee runs. Bagley pursues. Kicks towards centre half-forward. Going forward that time. Larkey unable to complete the mark. 45 out. North Melbourne into attack. We get another stoppage. And every time, Lee, you think, Essendon's going to break this open. North Melbourne have an answer and lead by 2 points.
North are going okay. I mean, Essendon's probably got a limit above what they're showing so far, but North have been really competitive. And they're big forwards. When they go forward, Brown and Waite and even Larkey are getting on the end of it really well.
Dorr been very competitive. Doesn't bring it clear. There's a whistle. There is a free kick the Kangaroos' way.
Yep.
Kicking in danger, the call. And Zerha, who very nearly kicked a brilliant goal about 90 seconds ago, could have a go if he so chose, with the man on the mark 45 or 6 metres out. He's actually outside the boundary line as he starts his approach on the right flank. It's a tough shot, in other words, from 49. He swings it across the face. No one can mark, and it's easy for the defence to knock it over the boundary line for a throw-in the left forward pocket. Kangaroos by 2 points. Almost 25 minutes gone, second
and
term.
we're going to have a rather pleased Jack Zeeble joining us at half-time in the 3AW commentary box as North Melbourne by 2 points, and they have it deep into attack and dominating really at the moment. Bell-Chambers, the tap, runs off Rovat's feet, and it's out of bounds yet again. Lloydie, just for Windows, Canterbury Timber Windows, is there a stat that says, you've got a stat that says time in attacking half, because it seems like it's been all North Melbourne for the last 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, I'll get that for you, Tone.
So thank you very much. Bell-Chambers, the tap. Handball that time went to Parrish. Parrish is coming back in a moment as Mullet, run off half-back, becoming influential to McDonald. He goes forward of the centre, and every player bar one in North Melbourne's attacking half. Short to Ryan Clark. 3:45 to go on the Ray White countdown clock to half-time. North Melbourne by 2 points, 47-45. They've just knocked it around the arc. Mountford has it for North Melbourne. Left foot kick the full forward. Majak, big run at it. Ball knocked away into space. Hooker stays down. Handball to Goddard. Little one out the back. Means Bagley can go long to the wing on the city side of the ground.
Danaher one-on-one here with Nielsen. Danaher kept his feet. Nielsen went to ground but picks himself up in time to make it a contest. Fans reckon it was holding the ball. It doesn't matter. McDonald comes away for North. He gives to Swallow, to Garner, to Zerha, to Dumont. Now up to the forward pocket, and Higgins centering ball for Dorr. Bell-Chambers' first pair of hands onto it, and the umpire satisfied that that first pair had a pretty good grasp, and Bell-Chambers is paid the mark. Luckily for a beleaguered Essendon back half, he's between fullback and halfback.
To the wing it goes. Long kick Bell-Chambers. North Melbourne have all the numbers, follow the footy. Swallow round the body, back to Ryan Clark. It's closer to centre half back, but he's got a man free in Williams in the middle of the ground. So Mullet, being really the link man in this quarter, goes to Mountford. Mountford of North Melbourne, little handball through. Rovat sloppy by hand. They're going to get out of it though. Back to Mountford, goes wide. Attlee's got the footy. There is a very red-hot Melbourne up at the MCG. You're watching, Tiff.
Yeah, Jesse Hogan just kicked his second, and then they now lead by 32 points, 5-5-35 to just 3 points to Port Adelaide. 4.5 minutes gone, second quarter.
Atley kick wasn't good, intercepted in the middle by Goddard. Gave it to a running Heppel. Fake and goal square, it's going on. Will it bounce and goal? It does. Essendon regains the lead at the 28-minute mark. Second quarter, 8-3-51, North Melbourne, 7-5-47. Oh, how Atley would like that kick back again.
He would, and just on the stat you asked for, Tone, 70% they've had the ball in their forward half, 17 inside 50s to 8 in this quarter, yet Essendon have scored 4 goals, North Melbourne have scored 3, so...
And at least a couple of North bad turnovers, haven't they, really? I mean, North have actually helped set up by just turnover mistakes, 3 or 4 Essendon goals, but the scoreboard just keeps ticking for the Bombers. Their efficiency has been really good.
So Essendon by 4 points. Heppel, who kicked that goal, very nearly initiated a forward move out of the middle. North Melbourne free kick. What are the numbers, Lloydie? The frees, the Bomber fans keep moaning in exasperation.
5 to Essendon, 13 to the Kangaroos.
Now Higgins takes this. He kicks wide to Atley. He comes inside with a hand pass to Gibson. Stabbing ball to the new Drew Petrie. Larkey, who dropped the mark. Hurley has it for the Bombers. Gives to Hooker. A little hand pass to McGrath. Clearing ball up towards the wing. All North. Uncontested. Durden takes the mark. Goes backwards and inboard to Rovat for North Melbourne. Pokes his little pass onto Atley. And now a hand pass to McDonald, advancing and kicking wide to Cunnington. 65 out. Right flank. Dropping into a hole and receiving gratefully is Sam Gibson. 40 metres out. Near the boundary. Kickable, but a tough shot.
Do you like Sam Durden?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
He came through the AFL Academy, Tone, so he was always highly regarded. North took him with their first selection around, I think, the Jake Lever pick, so highly regarded, but it's taken a number of years to come on. 29 minutes gone, nearly half-time. Good-looking kick from Gibson. Beautiful kick. Glorious goal. North back in front. 8-5-53. Essendon 8-3-51 on the RACV Business Insurance scoreboard. Tiff, what's the latest at the G?
All right, so Melbourne lead now by 38 points. It's just kicked another. Jesse Hogan, his third, 6-5-41 to 3 points. 7 minutes gone, second quarter.
How's Port Adelaide wearing the cheap suits?
Yeah, okay, Tone.
No, they're not wearing them particularly well. No one ever likes a cheap suit. And everyone thought the Husqvarnas would be in full force today, banging them on North Melbourne. Well, that's not the case. North Melbourne by 2 points. Close to half-time. Big crowd. Undermanned, but certainly not intimidated North Melbourne. Back in the middle of the ground. Bell Chambers tries to knock it forward. He knocks it back to high contact on DeMott, I thought. No, back in the middle of the ground. So 21 seconds to half-time. 8-5-53 to 8-3-51. North Melbourne by 2 points. Back in the middle. Bell Chambers, the tap. Cunnington in there, as is Higgins, as is Rovat. Rovat, Higgins. If he goes long, by hand to Rovat. If they can find a target here, they'll have a shot after the siren. Brown can't complete the mark. McKenna for Essendon, fall of the ball, goes back to Hurley. Hurley round the body and wide to the boundary line, and Laverty's taken it. And that will do us for a most entertaining first half of football, as the Bomber fans will show their displeasure with the umpiring, as there's just a bit of push and shove. Cameron Zurhaar and young Connor McKenna. Wouldn't mind seeing that one. I reckon Zurhaar, he looks like he'd be ready for it. And I haven't seen an Irishman take a backward step. 8-5-53, but it ends peacefully. 8-5-53 North Melbourne, Essendon 8-3-51. Second quarter brought to you by RACV Business Insurance. They can tailor the right cover to suit your needs. Halftime wrap will be coming up shortly, and plenty to talk about here, with North Melbourne leading by 2 points. Jack Zeeble joining us in the 3RW commentary box. Tiff, before we get to our break, you're into the second quarter by a few minutes. It's a 38-point lead. I'll go back to you in a moment, Tiff. Melbourne by 38 points. Early stage of second quarter. Here it's North Melbourne by 2 points. 8-5-53 to Essendon 8-3-51. With thanks to KFC The flatbread sliders, just $2. Hurry, they're not around forever. Across Australia, you're listening to 3AW Football.
This quarter, brought to you by RACV Business Insurance. Call 13 RACV for your business insurance needs. Footy highlights for Vic Super. Vic Super's conscious investment option. Super that makes a difference.
Stewart's little stuttering run in, but 25 out, kicks through the ball nicely for a goal.
Brown's mark.
Yeah, no, Brown got there first.
Runs out, opens it up, and predictably he goals.
Honest Ben Brown.
Being opened up in defence, Essendon.
We're getting more of a game than we bargained for.
Chance for Ben Brown second, and North Melbourne regain the lead. Long run in. Holding and Lilly and Thompson, and you're still short. Brown goes back. If it works for him, and it has.
Ben Brown's getting too many easy runs at the ball.
Waller comes in and with minimum fuss puts it through and puts the Bombers back in front. Mullet on the run and goaling from a long way.
Half-time, it is here at the Etihad Stadium. North Melbourne, 8-5-53 leads Essendon, 8-3-51. For On Deck, the small business loan specialist. Turn that no around. Get on with it. ondeck.com.au. Bring you the halftime wrap each week over at the MCG. We'll go to Tiff shortly, but it is Melbourne leading Port Adelaide by 37 points. They're midway into the second quarter. Port Adelaide has not scored a goal yet. But good times for North Melbourne. Absolutely. We don't quite have the stats in front of us, Lloydie, but this has to be near enough the youngest side games-wise that any team has put out this year. And what a great first half they've put up. They lead by 2 points. Lloydie, Jack Zeeble in the North Melbourne rooms to talk to you.
Thanks for joining us, Jack, down there in the rooms. What are the messages that you took out into this game? Because it seems like you've denied Essendon the ball. 62 marks to 17 North Melbourne's way.
I think that's the key there, Lloyd, is obviously making Essendon defend. Uncontested marks has been a big stat for us over the last few weeks, and we probably haven't done that too well. So the boys have controlled the ball really well in the first half, and I think they've attacked some really good positions that have allowed us to defend the ball in our forward half of the first half of the game today, which has been pleasing. So hopefully we can do that the next couple of quarters as well, and try and pull off a great win.
Part of that, Jack, and I don't know if you saw the statistical numbers, but you forced Essendon 84 kicks, 94 handball. So they just happened to handball a lot, largely out of trouble. And you guys have got into space, 132 kicks, 83 handballs, ability to run and create and link up.
I think that makes a bit of a difference as well. If you can get the opposition to handball the ball, you can invite the pressure a little bit, and I think our pressure's been really good from our guys, and on the vice versa, if we can control the ball by foot, when you take a mark, it's hard to get pressure on when you've got the ball from a mark. So if we can keep that going and try and control that possession, obviously that starts in the contest, and I think our inside midfielders have been really good in that area, and try and get the ball going forward from the stoppages.
Got great contributions from all the older players and also the youth. Can you talk us through the warm-up and what brought the first game of Josh Williams into the team at the expense of Robbie Tarrant?
Yeah, I think Tazza obviously was a little bit sore going into the game, and the call was not to risk him today, which is fair enough. And the opportunity come along for Joshy Williams to be part of today and make his debut, which is outstanding. I think we've got 7 players under 10 games and half the side 12 players under 50 games today, so it's a fairly inexperienced side, but with that inexperience there's plenty of youth and there's plenty of excitement and enthusiasm, and I think you can see from the first half of football today that the boys are really up for the challenge and really excited about playing together.
And young Larky hasn't touched the ball, in fact, but he's looked damn dangerous at times. So as that third tall forward, he's got to the fall of the ball a few times, even though he hasn't actually been able to nail one yet.
He probably should have nailed one. I think one bounced off his chest, a floater from Gibbo there at one point, but he's obviously a pretty dangerous forward. He gets into some really good spots, and we'll look for him to have a bit of an impact here in the second half, and hopefully he can slot 1 or 2 for us as well.
Hey Jack, just want to ask you about the decision to rest yourself. Did it come as a shock, or when Brad first approached you to say maybe have a week off?
Yeah, it's probably been in the making for a couple of weeks, but I would love to play tonight, and no doubt we'll be back next week. So looking forward to getting out against Melbourne down in Hobart on Saturday. Is
that an accumulated fatigue issue, Jack, or just you got a lot of sore spots that probably need a week off?
There's just a few sore spots there, Leah, so hopefully over the next 4 or 5 days I can really rest up and get that right for next week.
And as captain, what role do you play?
Sorry boys, I might have to cut it off. I'm just about to go to the meeting, so
no worries.
Thanks
Jack.
Thanks, Jack.
We thank North Melbourne, whose access to players pre-game and during the game is easily the best in the competition. 8-5-53 North Melbourne, Essendon 8-3-51. Let's start breaking this game down. It's the halftime wrap for On Deck, the small business loan specialist. Turn that now around. Go to ondeck.com.au. The game up at Melbourne is pretty much in stalemate at the moment, with Melbourne leading 41-4. 37-point margin there. Here it is 2 points. We heard from Jack. We like their discipline. We like the way they've set up and the way they've been able to deny Essendon the footy.
Well, they have. I mean, you don't win the game on reputation, and we knew going in terms of the youth in the North Melbourne team, but they've played well. Whether they can link it up, keep it going third and fourth quarters, but they've contested well. They've been pretty good around the clearances, and they've had a lot of inside 50. I mean, 35 inside 50s. That's a big half. I mean, you double that 70. That's monstrous. So they're giving their forwards a lot of chance, and they've been able to get in on the end of enough. But a few turnovers back half have enabled Essendon to get their 8 goals and make sure, the scoreboard's obviously a 2-point margin, but they've been very good, the Kangaroos, in that first half.
Lloydie, just for the Canterbury Timber windows at windowsanddoors.build, you've got one stat. Just give us one that stands out above all, which, it's a 2-point margin, which that's what it was North Melbourne's way at quarter time as well.
I'd just have to say, Tone, just the question asked Jack Zeeble, the marks, 74-22. So they've come in with a game plan with a young team, and they've executed it really, really well. They haven't got into a real shootout with Essendon. They've just controlled the ball. Hasn't been allowed for their faster play. So guys like McGrath off halfback hardly touched the ball. Connor McKenna last week, just off halfback, hardly touched it. Hurley, we've hardly seen him with any damage off halfback. So it's been that type of game where they've taken Essendon's strengths away.
And the key backs today, we know it's Scott Thompson. He'll give you 100% of the time. But Durden and Nielsen, for young men just starting their career, look pretty stable down back.
Yeah, they've done it. Well, if there's any tall forwards that are looking dangerous, it's the North Melbourne ones. Browns look dangerous, Waits look dangerous, and inside 50 marks is always an interesting stat, because obviously that's a set shot at goal, and the Kangaroos have had 9 of them, and Essendon have only had 5. So in terms of actually just being able to maintain possession of the footy, North have been a bit better, except in their back half. Just 3 or 4 really bad cross-field interceptions has really been why Essendon have been able to get their 8 goals, not so much through winning contests up there.
Tiff Cherry, we go around the grounds for Vodafone. Power to you, covering 99% of Australia. And do you believe what you're actually witnessing from Melbourne so far?
Well, Melbourne, look, they've still a lot of skill errors, but they are leading by 37 points. Port Adelaide yet to kick a goal, and we are nearly 20 minutes into the second quarter. It is 6-6-42 to 5 points.
And just some of the better players for the Demons today, Tiff?
Oh, look, I'd have to say that Jack Viney's pretty impressive. Brett Ebert's been all right for the opposition. Dom Tyson, he's had a number of possessions in his first game back in 3 weeks from a knee injury.
Good stuff. Tiffany Cherry at the MCG telling us that it is Melbourne leading by 37 points there. Here it is North Melbourne leading by 2 points. So, last one from you, Matthew, please. What happens now for North Melbourne? Everything they've done is pretty good in the first half. You expect weight of numbers to prevail, but if North Melbourne keep doing what in particular, they'll really test Essendon to the line.
I think it's just use the ball a little bit better. So I think that for all the ball that they've had, Lee touched on inside 50s, 35-23, yet they only lead by a couple of points. So they've got to use it better if they're to go on and win, because you think Essendon can only improve. They'll cop a rocket, they'll adjust. So if they want to go somewhere, they win this game. Even if they have to scrounge it for North, well, they've got to use the ball better if they want to go on and win.
Craig on the Tyre Power Twitter, and you can contact us at any time on the Tyre Power Twitter at 3RW is football 132191. You want the best tyres? Tyre Power has the best range at the best prices. Just use with the wakey Essendon. Can we sense perhaps another Brisbane looming?
Well, anything's possible, but you just think, and I don't think logically that the Kangaroos can maintain this level for another 3 or 4, another half, whereas Essendon have got so much upside, and given only the 2-point margin, you would still fancy that, as we thought pre-game, that Essendon would be too strong over the 4 quarters.
State of play on this Saturday afternoon on 3RW football here at Etihad Stadium. We're at half time. North Melbourne 8-5-53, Essendon 8-3-51.